Welcome to Cuisine with Jean. I'm absolutely delighted to introduce, of course, some of you may already know her, but Allison Jones of Cupful of Coffee, or just coffee.
Cupful Coffee
and Bakery.
Yes.
And the place you may have seen her the most is at the farmers markets, both in Rocky Mount and in Nashville. But Sam Bass told me about you.
Yeah.
He said, this is a really neat young lady you need to have on your show because her food is just great, and went on and on and on. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Sam. Sam is an avid cookie eater, customer of mine.
I don't doubt that. Well, tell us the name, the significance of the name, Allison.
So Cupful Coffee and Bakery to me means cupful of Jesus and cupful of coffee. Mm-hmm. And if you have both of those things, then you are really overflowing. And so my logo is actually a stain, a coffee stain. Mm-hmm. And so that's really what it means to me, and that's what it means to come out into the community and to serve the people of Nash County and surrounding. And we really just love it. We love what we do.
Well, and you sell out usually at the farmers markets.
We do. I'm very tired, but I'm very thankful. I really do have the most amazing customers that have become family to me, really. Mm-hmm. And I really look forward to seeing the same people and meeting new people at each market.
Well, just to tease you, go ahead and let you know, she is going to make her mother's banana bread recipe. That it's old stained recipe here, but that's a good thing. But we're going to do that in just a minute. But I want to know, your background is not in cooking.
No.
You have degrees to do health-related things, right?
Yeah, so my first bachelor's degree was in environmental science and engineering. Mm-hmm. And then I actually went on to become a professional athlete for a little bit, and then decided that I wanted to work with people, work in science, but with people. And so I went back to school at Nash Community College for physical therapist assistant. And love that. I've been doing that about 10 years until the bakery started picking up, and now I'm kind of doing that on a as needed basis. Mm-hmm.
And your husband helps you too, doesn't he?
He does. We call it free labor. It's the job.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's the job he did not apply for. He has learned how to make the doughs and to make the bread, but we have our strengths and weaknesses, and he's great at packaging and labeling and decor and kind of the aesthetics of the table. He
we
helps.
eat with our eyes.
Yes.
We talked about that ahead of time.
Yes.
It needs to really look good and smell good. Of course, the free labor, I mean, he gets to sample the product, so it's not, there are perks.
Every night, cookies, every night.
And I went to your Facebook page and really had a good time just scrolling down there and seeing all the various things, and the what if on the guess what's in the bread that's rolled. But sourdough bread is a big item that you sell, right?
Yes. Sourdough is something that we started. I've been in business 3 years here locally, and we started it last year, and I just kind of was interested, the beauty of bread. I think bread is really beautiful. You can do so many things with it. I'm like, let's do sourdough. Let's do a soft sourdough so that it is, you make sandwiches, French toast, kids can eat it.
Soft meaning what? A less crunchy crust?
It's right. It's not that rustic. So that loaf that you see quite often in maybe an Italian restaurant with that really rough crust with the flour coating the top, and you cut into it. It's got those really big bubbles and holes in it. That's more of the rustic loaf. It's very similar flavor, much different texture. Usually need a little bit of a sauce to dip it in, probably some butter. The sandwich loaf that we sell we still have flavors incorporated, but when you slice it, it slices just like your average loaf of bread. We like to do it a little thicker and a little bit of butter and sort of toast that up in a pan. It's very good.
And you have got the live culture, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
That stumps people a lot, and I think we have to really kind of go back to what Grandma used to do, and she didn't have all this digital stuff and all these refrigerator and thermometers. She just kind of was like, oh, I think it's time to feed my starter. And so I do maintain a starter. It's about in a big camera.
Yes, you've got a real
it's really big, and I have to kind of sometimes really hunker down to stir it like a cauldron almost.
And you sell the starter to people too?
I do.
Don't you, Allison?
So some people will buy the dried starter if they're kind of thinking of doing it maybe in a month or so, or they want to send it to a family member who's always wanted to do sourdough. And then there's a lot of people locally that will actually buy the live starter, and of course has to be sort of picked up that day so that they can go home and feed it. And it does come with instructions.
Great.
Yeah.
But your biggest sales item are your cookies, right?
Cookies and bread. Okay, so we talked about the bread. The cookies, we call them our jumbo stuffed cookies. And honestly, I could probably hold...
Stuffed.
Yeah, yep, stuffed with stuff. And we do things like Oreo cookie white chocolate chip, or Oreo cookie chocolate chip stuffed in there, or we do a key lime white chocolate, or
I saw that on your Facebook page, yeah.
That one's good. The s'mores, everything you would think, graham cracker, marshmallow, melty chocolate on the top. And so it's stuffed in and placed on the top. Yep, and every cookie's made by hand. It's not like a scoop and go kind of thing. We have to weigh it out and put the ingredients in there.
And you do this at your home, but you had to have your kitchen at home certified, right, in order to do that?
Yes. The USDA, which is based out of Raleigh here, will come to your home and they send out an agent to inspect, ask you questions, and just assure that you are operating with good sanitation and having everything done the way they would want it to be done.
And with your scientific background, I mean, you kind of probably knew a lot of that, right?
I did. And working in healthcare, it's all about washing your hands, prepping your surface. You know, where did this bowl last go? And just kind of really paying attention every time you go to answer the phone and pick up the phone, well, then you've got to go wash your hands again. And a big part, something I'm really particular about is my labeling. I mean, by law, we have to label what is in the ingredients, what is in the product.
In case someone has an allergy to a nut or something.
That's right. And I have plenty of customers where I may say, hey, I don't cook with coconut. However, in my shelf, I do have a jar of coconut oil. And being very transparent with people. And I've had a gentleman say, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't because it's in the facility. And I said, oh, well, that's okay. And so...
You're happy that he realized that.
Oh, absolutely.
So certainly the last thing you want to do is hurt somebody. I bet you have lines like crazy at the farmer's market.
We do, and if any of you are watching, you know that you get there a little before we open to kind of say, it's okay, I'm waiting, and kind of, they don't pressure us, they're really sweet, but they know they're gonna run right in and grab the item that they are really wanting. And luckily the Nashville market's on a Friday night from 3 to 7, and the Rocky Mount market's on a Saturday morning. And so quite often we see those people on a Friday, hey, I'm headed to the lake. I wanted to get my sourdough bread to make French toast. Or Mother's Day weekend or whatever's coming up, needed to get mom 2 or 3 of her favorite lemon cookies. So we...
And teacher gifts. I mean,
and
that's
teacher
another
gifts.
thing.
Yes, because teachers, I'm sure, like apples, but I think they want cookies.
Who doesn't like a cookie?
Who doesn't?
That's just comfort food. So,
Yeah.
And all the stress and wrapping up at the end of the year. I mean, teachers worked, made such a difficult month, such a busy month. So
Yes, and I'm very thankful for teachers because I always say I could never do it. I'm very thankful for those folks. And so, yeah, it's great. Sometimes I have customers swing by, pick up an iced coffee and a cookie and head to go pick up their kid. And I'm thankful for that we can provide that for somebody in their day.
just like this is your comfort.
It is, it
Cookies are
is.
for them. Okay, so you're going to make banana bread. Give us kind of some tips before we get started.
Sure, I picked this recipe to show because I feel like everybody can do it. So it's pretty much a 1 or 2 bowl recipe, and if I wasn't on the show, I might not even need to do all these. I might just have my ingredients out in front of me. And so I also wanted to show you, I saved the bananas to kind of show you before I mashed them up that, you know, typically we think about a very ripe banana that's maybe even too messy to even peel. And this one's kind of like maybe going on its way out, don't really want it as a snack. This one's probably a good one to put in your lunchbox for a snack. Both can be used, which I liked, because if you're like, oh no, I have company coming, I don't have ripe bananas, but I want to make my banana bread. So you can use both, probably just not one of those green type bananas, but a snackable one and maybe not a snackable one.
But you wouldn't do 2 snackables, would you?
You know, in a pinch you really could. It will still have that same flavor. You might not have the really wet moisture of a wetter fruit bread, but it will still, the flavor will still be the same. The house will still smell amazing, and everybody will be impressed when they walk into your house. And so that was, when it comes to time for that, I'll show you how we just quickly mash it up. And it's really up to you. So if you over mash it, under mash it, it really is going to be okay. It's a very forgiving recipe. And then we just have our ingredients out here, which is our flour. Now I have sifted the flour. This recipe does call for sifted flour, but I recommend when baking to sift your flour. It creates a very light and fluffy texture to your muffins, your your breads and everything else.
Do you use any particular type of flour?
So this recipe does call for an all-purpose flour, and it's just, I actually like to just go to the Sam's Club and get it. It's a great price. It's a very clean product. It doesn't sit on the shelf for a long time. But people have asked me about whole wheat flours or their particular allergy. Maybe they're using a different flour. People who have allergies are pretty rehearsed in using other flours. But if you wanted to use a whole wheat for this recipe, it would be okay.
But you don't use like cake flour or anything like that, all-purpose
This
flour.
is an all-purpose flour, or nowadays on the shelf it'll say, if it's an alternative flour, it will say replaceable for an all-purpose.
Okay.
Yep. And then we have, you know, our I think I said our white sugar, and then over here is your baking powder, soda, and salt that I just kind of all put in the same dish. I actually used pecans for this, and I'm from Massachusetts. I say pecans. I don't know if it's pecans, but I say pecans.
Same nut, either way.
Same nut, same great taste. And you can buy the pieces. They are a little bit less expensive. I actually, in the bakery, have the whole ones. And so all I did was put them in a little bag and kind of crush them real quick. I tend to like my pieces just a little bit bigger, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I was going to say those, I mean, it's like half. Cut in half or something. Not normally, I would think they would be little tiny pieces, but you're right. Okay.
Yes, and a preference. I mean, some people don't like to bite into that, and some people like to have big pieces. And so that's what's great about this recipe. It's all preference. And then one of the things I had mentioned to you earlier was I put a brown sugar over the top of my banana or blueberry bread. I would do a white sugar, but we talked about why would I pick this brown sugar instead, and I feel like it just goes with the flavor profile of the banana and the pecans or walnuts. And it creates a really nice crust over the top when it bakes.
Crunchy?
Yes, and it's just sweet, and you get a nice little sweet bite, and then the moisture from the bread.
And because the batter is fairly thick, it doesn't sink down in, it stays on top.
It is very thick, and actually when you make the batter, you kind of look at it and say, did I do it right? It just doesn't, it almost looks like a thick pancake batter. And over mixing is a problem with people who don't have baked goods that turn out right. They say, what did I do wrong? I followed the recipe. And I find when I'm teaching my bread classes, people really want to go in and mix and mix and mix and mix. And in this recipe, it says just until blended. Or it might say something like turn into pan, because it doesn't want you to keep going like this. You kind of ruin all the ingredients, and it becomes this very flat, dense loaf. So definitely follow your directions.
And I think that's, for most baked goods, it says to stir until they're blended. I mean, even if you get like a muffin mix, which, you know, heaven forbid for you, but anyway, it says stir just until blended. You don't overbeat it.
That's right. And especially when you're incorporating a fruit into a batter. With my blueberry muffins, I make a same type of thing. It's a bakery style where it puffs up over the top and comes over the pan. And I do put a sugar mixture over, and I use fresh blueberries or frozen in the winter. And it looks like I'm taking care of a baby sometimes. I'm just sort of coming over and folding, because it will say fold blueberries in. Because what happens is you squish the fruit, the liquid goes into the dough, you get a gummy, wet, dense muffin. You don't get, it can't rise.
And with a nice spatula.
That's right.
Perfect way to do it.
And this is I brought my favorite one, and it, you know, you have your favorite tool. It's just a KitchenAid. I think I got it at Target. But it has a steel piece through the whole thing. This was just in case I needed an extra, but it really isn't. It's kind of flimsy. And
silicone.
so, yeah, when I come in here, I mean, just a really great kind of thing going on right there.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break, and then you'll start putting everything together.
Yes, ma'am.
And fold them together. Not
Fold them
beat
together.
We'll be right back.
When you buy a new or used vehicle from Davenport Auto Park, you drive change, because a portion of every sale goes to support a local nonprofit that you choose. So whether you buy a new Honda or GMC or a certified pre-owned vehicle, you're not just getting a great vehicle, you're giving back to your community. Ready to make a difference? Visit Davenport Auto Park online or stop by today at 600 English Road, Rocky Mount. Your next car can change lives. Davenport Auto Park, your dealership for life.
Folks, now Allison Jones is going to make her mother's famous banana bread. And I said, are you sure you want to share this recipe? I mean, it's kind of a criteria of being on the show. And you said, don't want to share some of my other breads and cookies and whatnot, but this is one that you're very comfortable sharing with everybody.
Yeah.
So it will be on our website, Cuisine with Jean, www.cuisinewithjean, but also we're going to read the ingredients as we go too in case you don't have access to internet. And at the end of the show, we're going to put up Allison's contact information, the best way to reach her if you want to find out something other than going to the farmer's market to order something. She does what, weddings, parties,
Yep,
all
office,
sorts of things.
provide gifts for staff, for offices, luncheons for maybe meetings. Really anywhere you'd like to have a cookie or a cup of coffee or a lemonade bar, we're there.
Great. Okay, and we will let you know how to get in touch with her. But,
Yeah.
Okay. Now, during the break, you peel the bananas and you cut through them with a knife.
Yep, I just took a butter knife, put them in here, rough chopped them. You can mash them more if you'd like, but my beater is going to do that for me. But the very first thing we do is we take a stick of butter, one whole stick. I left it in the wrapper because it's a little bit less messy that way, and I just kind of dump it into there.
Is that unsalted butter or regular butter?
So this is regular butter because I will always jump onto the top of that mountain and say I love salted butter in everything. Unless you have dietary restrictions, I would just use a salted butter.
And so do you still add salt with the baking powder, baking soda?
Yes, and it's a very minimal amount. And again, if you have restrictions, you can leave that salt out. It's really for flavor and not for anything to do with the baking process. I'm taking a half a cup of white sugar, and I'm gonna just put that in there, and very, very quickly, you don't need a lot, maybe just a few seconds.
Cream it.
Yep, just cream it together, okay? Because remember, we're gonna mix at each step, okay? I'm probably gonna make a mess, we're just gonna leave it there. It's okay. And so in the next thing, it says, in the next step, it says beat in the eggs that I had over here. Brought extra eggs just in case I didn't, a couple of them didn't make it. And I highly recommend probably putting these, cracking these into a glass first, because quite often your eggshells will break and you can't see it with the sugar and the butter,
We
right?
can pretend they're nuts.
Right, and just give the bread away and nobody will ever say anything. So you're gonna go ahead and put that in there, and then you're gonna dump that 1.5 cups, so that was 2 eggs. This is 1.5 cups of banana.
Do you need to measure it, or can you just do 2 bananas?
You know, I found that two good-sized bananas is about 1.5 cups, and again, it is a preference. It's not going to mess with the baking unless you put 3 or 4 bananas in there. And so at this point, just really quickly, I would also like to just beat this up.
These are basically what's called your wet ingredients.
Yes, and I'm sure I'm getting you with a piece of banana there.
That's okay. It already smells good.
It does, yes. And you.
So you grew up eating this banana bread, right?
Yes, and another reason I picked this, one, it is from my mother's wedding cookbook that she got when she got married. So that had to be the early 70s, although she would not like me to say that. But so then I was 14 years old, I started making this and selling it at a farm stand where I lived.
Where did you grow up?
So I'm from Haverhill, Massachusetts, which is right at the border of New Hampshire, right over the line. And this flew off the shelf. I used to ride my bike down, and the farmer I knew would let me do that. And in Massachusetts, that was something we could do. And it was very popular, and I enjoyed it very much.
Great.
Yeah.
And we're glad you made your way down here.
Yeah, and I really would love to hear from people once they make this. So now I have 2 cups of sifted flour. We talked about why it's sifted, because it's very fluffy, very light. And then I have in this a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of regular table salt, okay? And I don't...
Half, and half.
Yeah.
And I find with baking soda is always in a banana bread.
Yes, and you definitely don't want to, if you have a recipe that has powder and soda in it, and I know this from experience, I did it to my family a month ago by accident, I put too much soda, because you'll almost always have more powder, which doesn't have a flavor, but you do not want too much baking soda.
What happened when you did that?
It tasted like the ocean. It was like a mouthful of salt.
Okay.
Baking soda is it's a very salty, flat taste. Made some biscuits. All 4 kids were running around screaming. I really wasn't paying attention. And my daughter took a bite and went, "Oh!" And I took a bite. I said, "Don't eat it, don't eat it." And they did, to be kind. It was awful.
Well, you've done a good job with your kids if they eat your stuff to be kind. Wow.
Yes, it was awful. So just for the purposes of not being too loud, I just gave it a little stir. You don't have to do that. You can use this. And it looks like it's not going to mix. You sort of look at it like This is not,
Yeah, it's very thick.
it's very thick. It's almost looking like you're going to be making cookies, okay?
And the butter was the oil in it.
That's right.
And you're not going to add any milk or anything.
Nope.
So it's the oil, the butter, and the bananas that are providing the moisture.
Right, and what I really liked about
the eggs.
Yeah. And say you want to make this really quick and you don't have milk and you don't have buttermilk and you don't have all these other things. You usually have a stick of butter, a couple eggs, and flour sitting around. And so you can alter. I'm doing the pecans. Like I said, some people like pieces. I did a little bit bigger, but you don't have to. You can use walnuts, and I'm going to give that one more quick little stir, like this.
And this is it, right?
This is it. And you kind of give it one of these little taps here. It actually tastes okay to lick. I've given my kids the beaters, but it is a little thicker.
And I'm often concerned, they say don't eat raw eggs. So
Well, that's a personal perspective. Yeah, that's a personal thing. I mean, I maybe don't because it's recommended.
Of course, we all like to get Eggland's Best at Nashville, our local.
Yes, Braswell Farms is right there by the Nashville Farmers Market.
And you really, really do concentrate on supporting local people, don't you?
Yes, we have local people support us and we give it right back. And so, for instance, the strawberries I use are from Strawberry City. M&H Edwards Farms is a big supporter of my business. They have wonderful produce. They're right there in Nashville.
We've had Hope Edwards on, and she did her Bibb lettuce, and
so good.
It didn't even taste like lettuce.
No.
It was so superior to anything I've ever had. And Robbie Morris, who works here, who many of you know, he said he was just savoring it. He said, I've never tasted, and he cooks a lot himself.
Yes.
And he said, this is just.
It's a hydroponic lettuce, and Mike and Hope really, they work very hard to bring just some of the best, they're the best onions I think I've ever tasted. And Mike always laughs at me. He says, Allison, they're just onions. I said, they're not just onions, Mike. They're delicious.
They're a work of art.
They really are. And their vegetables are just perfect every time. And then the coffee we use is Lanoka coffee, and that's in Farmville. And that is a husband and wife, Matt and Sandy Wright. They roast wonderful coffee beans, and so when people compliment the coffee, I say, hey, I didn't roast it. We do take pride in how we store and serve our goods, but it is another local family. And so, yeah, it's very important to support the local people because the local people are the ones that give back to the little kids' sports teams and the rescue organizations. We are building your community, your local community is very important. Very important.
So are you going to spread that in the parchment paper?
I'm going to give two options for people. So parchment paper is one of the best inventions in baking, but not everybody has it. I buy it commercially for the bakery, so I have a lot of it, but you can buy it on the roll or not at all. I like it because when that bread comes out and it's a little sticky or hot, you can kind of just maybe do a knife around the edges and lift it right out. So I brought that to show you, but what I also do is I make my own little butter, little butter wipes here. I don't really want to be doing it with my finger. I got that kind of very melty butter. And I am really going to grease that well. And the two reasons, one, we don't want our bread to break, but we also want that butter to kind of crisp up the outside of that bread. And I do like this method here. I just feel like it keeps the most off my fingers.
Well, now when you put, and we're getting a little bit short on time, because we have to taste it at the end. Once you put that in, are you going to make sure that the brown sugar can go down the sides too, or just on top?
Oh, I'm going to make sure it goes all over the top here. We'll get this in here real quick. And as you can see, it's sort of a pasty.
It's thick.
Yep. Nothing really fancy. You're just going to make sure it hits kind of all.
But you're going to leave a little bit distance from the edge around it for the brown sugar dough.
Yep, and don't be too picky about how smooth that is. That's where your little raised edges come up and get crispy.
And also it looks homemade.
It does, and we eat with our eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
you're going to love the golden color of this too.
and then,
beautiful.
Like you said, Jean, there you go.
And you bake it for how long at what temperature?
350. You would have had a preheated oven for 350. And this is a 9.5 3-inch loaf pan, like a meatloaf or a bread pan. And you bake it for 45 to 50 minutes. My oven took 45 minutes. And then it'll tell you to leave it in the pan for a few before you just turn it out onto a rack or something to cool on.
And we'll be right back tasting it. Stay with us.
you buy a new or used vehicle from Davenport Auto Park, you drive change because a portion of every sale goes to support a local nonprofit that you choose. So whether you buy a new Honda or GMC or a certified pre-owned vehicle, you're not just getting a great vehicle, you're giving back to your community. Ready to make a difference? Visit Davenport Auto Park online or stop by today at 600 English Road, Rocky Mount. Your next car can change lives. Davenport Auto Park, your dealership for life.
Allison, I can't wait. I mean, and hopefully, Lee, let's get a real tight. You can really see the sugar and how it caramelized on there, and it just, the dark all around the edges where it melted and rolled down. And
food is art. It really is art, and we eat with our eyes. Would you like me to cut a slice of this?
I would love for you to cut a slice. And I think everybody at home would like to have a slice too, but you have to make your own, folks.
I know, it was hard to leave this. It was hard to leave this on the counter last night when I wanted to eat it. So I'm gonna cut an inside slice as well. And so you have a little bit of a stiffness to the bread because you don't want it to fall apart in your hands. And then you're gonna go ahead and cut that middle slice there, and you can see there are pecans through it. Oh, I'm sorry, there are pecans through it there. And you have that crust, so again, it's not falling apart and it's not too moist.
You've got 4 children too, right?
Yes, 2 of my own and 2 of my husband's, but it's still 4. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to cut that in half and you and I each can enjoy some?
Sure, we are.
Appropriately. How can people get in touch with you, Allison, if they're interested in, well, of course, the farmers market, both the Nashville one and the one near Rocky Mount Mills?
Yeah.
How can they call you or text you or something?
So texting is fine. My number is 917-842-3245. If you don't text and you want to call, that's fine. It just might be a bit till I return the call. An email is cupfull, that's F-U-L-L, cupfullcoffeenc@gmail.com, and that's also something that I can answer pretty quickly.
Okay.
I'm going to try this.
Oh, this is so good.
Oh, the nut. I have to have nuts in mine.
This has the best texture of any banana bread. I think most banana bread I've had is overly moist. It almost gets kind of soupy because I've used overly ripe bananas.
Yes.
But that's nice to know that you don't have to do that.
And again, like I said, if you're having somebody over for breakfast, your people can stand up with a napkin and kind of eat and not feel like it's kind of falling onto the plate or whatnot and make a mess. Yes, and you can use strawberries, blueberries, peaches, drain all that juice out. Experiment. Take this recipe when you get it on the, later on, and experiment with what you like. What nuts do you like?
And whatever local produce is available.
That's right.
To put in it.
That's
Allison,
right.
thank you.
Yes.
It's great to meet you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And
I enjoyed it.
Come back again sometime, and thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
When you buy a new or used vehicle from Davenport Auto Park, you drive change because a portion of every sale goes to support a local nonprofit that you choose. So whether you buy a new Honda or GMC or a certified pre-owned vehicle, you're not just getting a great vehicle, you're giving back to your community. Ready to make a difference? Visit Davenport Auto Park online or stop by today at 600 English Road, Rocky Mount. Your next car can change lives. Davenport Auto Park, your dealership for life.